Here we go. On the road. Holy sun.
You are listening to Voices from the Diaspora.
Hello everybody, this is Voices from the Diaspora. I'm Khadi Mansaray. Our show this week addresses the issue of rape and sexual violence in Sierra Leone and shall be co-hosted by myself and Milton Margai. To start with, I have with me Namakurata Susila, who works for International Rescue Committee as the Executive Director of Rainbow Initiative. She has a wealth of experience of operational management within a health setting in the NHS. She's also a clinician. Sarata, can you say hello to our listeners, please?
Hello, everybody. Nice to be here, and I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Okay. Thank you. Sarata, the Rainbow Initiative provides support for women and girls and other vulnerable persons who suffered sexual assault or physical violence. Tell us a bit about your work.
What I'm doing here is managing the Rainbow Centers, and the Rainbow Centers exist in Freetown, Koroma, and Khadi. They were to support women, young girls, and any other person, one of the persons within our community who had suffered sexual violence and physical violence.
Okay.
So that's part of what I'm doing.
Okay.
There are two aspects to it, and the second bit, I'll tell you quickly, is managing the transition, because the Rainbow Centre has been going on since 2003. And IRC saw it fit to transition at this time the Rainbow Centre into a local organisation. So part of my role is to manage that transition from being part of an international organisation, such as the IRC, into a local organisation. So it is a process, and it's about making sure that the services continue to go on as they have been before, as well as letting people know what's going on and how it is that you intend to bring this into an organisation that will be run by Sierra Leoneans and working for Sierra Leoneans. So that's the other aspect to it.
Okay, thank you. One of the biggest problems that we face or that people encounter with regards to victims of rape is the lack of counseling. I think sometimes it is, even though it's not as good as it should be, the physical help to address the physical impact is provided, but not always the psychological help. And how well equipped are we with regards to counseling?
The physical impact of survivors as well as psychological help, is that what you said?
How well equipped are we to deal with...
You wanted to say, sorry, Khadi, could you say that? What is the physical impact and psychological support for survivors that you're asking about?
Yes, I'm asking about how well equipped are we to deal with the psychological impact of things like rape and physical violence
within the Rainbow Centres.
Pardon?
Well, the Rainbow Centres have the Rainbow Centres, the way that it's set up. They have psychosocial counsellors. So when a victim comes in through the door, they see a counsellor first, and then that professional will go through with them whatever has happened, and give them support as is required, depending obviously on their circumstances. And then following that, they will see a midwife or less, and that midwife or nurse will examine them, give treatment where it's due, and so on. But some of these cases refer to us. In fact, the majority of the cases that you see at the Rainbow Centre are sent to us via the family support unit at the police. So when they're sent to us, they're already in the legal system, and they need to kind of be seen, have reports done, and then sent back to the family support unit so that it goes into the justice system and it can then be pursued. The matter can then be pursued from that point of view. We don't get involved in that in the sense that, that's a different operation altogether. But what we are involved in doing is supporting victims, survivors, and their families as to what options are available to them, and giving them also proper medical reports so that they can go on and pursue their problems through the legal system.
Okay, thank you. And with your background, in health and having worked in the NHS, how big is the gap do you think we have to fill in Sierra Leone to be able to do this more effectively?
How did I have to do what effectively? Sorry, what you said.
Helping you explain what the Rainbow Centres do. And I'm saying with your background in health and having worked in the NHS.
My training and background?
Yes. How?
In reference to what the Rainbow Centres do. Well, sorry, you go ahead.
Yes, I'm asking for judgment to say how well equipped are we in Sierra Leone in general, given the work that you do in the Rainbow Centre and what is needed in Sierra Leone and what is available. How big is the gap that we need to fill to be able to do this as effectively as possible? The Rainbow Centre is currently doing quite a lot, but it's evident that more is needed elsewhere, and the Rainbow cannot do it all. So how big is the gap?
Enormous. It's a huge gap. Obviously, the centre is not going to be able to fulfill the need that is present here in Sierra Leone. In the first instance, we only have a Rainbow Centre in Freetown, Kenya, and Koroma, and they deal with very specific populations. In Koroma, for instance, it is situated in Khadi, that is a factory, in the government hospital. In Kenya, likewise, it's in the government hospital, and in Freetown, it's actually at PCMH, which is in the end of Freetown. So they deal with very specific populations, very local to where they are. Our problems with these, when we take it on a nationwide basis, we clearly are not able to confront everything that the business we need to deal with from a nationwide point of view. It would be a good idea to see a Rainbow Centre, something similar, working within government services, health services in this country. But that, I think, takes time and planning, and it needs somebody to actually be interested to do it. Even in the areas where they're not able to impact on the population fully, because there are other issues. For instance, as in Canal, that you have, I'm sure it's 14 chieftains, if it's not just 16 now, and I apologize for not knowing the exact number. But some of these chieftains are very far away from Khadi, which is the capital of Koroma district. And so if you wanted to come into the Rainbow Centre to help and support the transport difficulties that people have in areas where there are no taxis, you would have to get a bike. If you've been injured or you're in a compromised situation, it's extremely difficult making these journeys across the region to get into the hospital and seek help from the Rainbow Centre. So the gaps are normal. So within the justice system also, we have a lot of issues going on. And the chief one that we have to think about is the fact that if you present in court your certificate for your medical certificate, because the court requires you to have one, it actually has to be signed by a doctor. And there are not many doctors which were able to access to sign this certificate. Okay, from the Rwanda Centre point of view, we've got doctors that, actually paid for it, that sort of thing. So the people that come through the Rwanda Centre do have it, which is good sign. But if they are able to get help from inside themselves, they would need a doctor's signature on there. And that's itself a big challenge for the Russian system. The justice system needs to be faster, more effective. It's putting an additional Saturday to speed up hearing these cases that come to court. And that is helpful, but we need to do a lot more. So there are many, many ways in which there are gaps all over the system, but we're working what we can at the moment.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. One more question. If there was one thing, that could be done immediately to help victims to go through the process of them getting justice quickly and effectively? One thing that needs to be changed in our system, what do you think that thing would be?
If there's one thing that could be changed to speed up the system so that people get access to justice a bit faster.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that if the requirement for a doctor to sign that medical certificate is changed, then we would be able to speed up the system a little bit. It would be better for everybody around. I think that would be a good thing. The one thing that they can do, like right here and now, so that the whole process can be speeded up, just change the requirements for only a doctor to sign. Because oftentimes it is the nurse or the midwife who will examine the survivor, look at what their issues are, take photographs, that sort of thing, depending on what's available, of course. And then write the report. The doctor will really just sign it. So if we could change that and allow a healthcare professional to sign that medical certificate, that would be one thing that would speed things up a little bit. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Before we end, you say there are currently 3 rainbow centers in Sierra Leone. Are there any plans to have more?
There are.
Okay. That is definitely for more centers, to have more centers in Sierra Leone.
No, there are no plans to open more centers. The rainbow centers are very expensive to run. We have highly qualified staff in them, the counsellors and the clinical staff, and the processes that we go through to look after people when they come through our doors, quite lengthy, because we actually sit down and are able to go to support people, whatever it is that has happened to them. And in addition to that, we give free medication and free care. None of it is paid for. Nobody pays for anything. So it's incredibly expensive to run in a country like Sierra Leone, and I think that to be able to replicate it, you need people to sit down and consider how it is that it is working there successfully in financial terms, and how it is that you can pick that up and be able to put it in, particularly in the north of Sierra Leone. There is absolutely nothing. I hear of smaller NGOs who are working with these things up and down the country, but to replicate that particular model, that would need high-level thinking, I think, from government point of view whether anyone's thinking about that at the moment.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And I'm sure our listeners out there have heard all what you say, and everyone is very much aware of what needs to be done and how serious this is. And I'm sure government will take heed to our calls, because there have been numerous calls for this sort of attention, for this sort of help, and for this issue to be made a priority. So thank you very, very much for agreeing to do this interview with us. And thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now,
Listen.
yeah, okay then. So you can say goodbye to our listeners, and my colleague Milton will continue with the next part of the show.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening, and if you have any further questions or concerns about the Rainbow Centre, all of the Rainbow Centres, in fact, you want to contact me, I'm sure that it will be possible to pass on my email address and so on. I'll leave that you decide how it is which you'll experience. But thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sarah. And that's it. Okay. All right, listeners. That was Sarah Villa from the Rainbow Centre. She's the executive director of the program. And now we should go on to the next part of the program, which shall be led by Milton, and I shall see you later.
Last night I heard the screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me, it won't do no good to call the police. Always come late if they come at all. Last night I heard the screaming, loud voices behind the wall. Another sleepless night for me, it won't do no good to call the police. Always come late if they come at all. And when they arrive, they say they can't interfere with domestic affairs between a man and his wife. And as they walk out the door, the tears well up in her eyes. Last night I heard the screaming, then a silence that chilled my soul. Prayed that I was dreaming.
Hello again, listeners. Welcome to another edition of Voices from the Diaspora Radio. Our topic today would be on sex crime in Sierra Leone, especially rape. With me to co-present the program is Khadi Mansaray. A lot has been said and written on social media since the news broke out that the Deputy Minister of Education allegedly raped a student. Without going into the specifics of this matter, as it is still an ongoing investigation, our panelists will throw light on the complexities that surround a sexual crime such as rape. Without further ado, we'll let the panelists introduce themselves, starting with Anita Koroma. Anita, please.
Hello, listeners. My name is Anita Koroma, International Director and Director for Girl Child Network Sierra Leone, as well as Girls Empowerment Initiative in the UK.
Thank you very much, Anita. And Peagie Foday, please.
Yes, this is Peagie Foday. Good evening, listeners. Good evening, everyone. I live in Sweden, a Sierra Leonean, working in Sweden, and I'm the CEO of Peagie Foday Scholarship Fund.
Okay, thank you very much. We've also got another guest who will be joining us shortly by the name of Gladys Kemokai. Gladys resides in the USA, and she's also a statistician. She's quite interested in this topic, but she will be joining us later as the program goes on. First of all, I'd like to start with Anita. Anita, a lot has been said about rape in Sierra Leone. In your opinion, what actually constitutes rape? What's the definition of rape in your opinion?
Well, it's not my definition per se. It's an international definition looking at what is rape. It's the unlawful compelling of a person through physical force or duress to have sexual intercourse. is an act of sexual intercourse that is forced upon a person.
Okay. Thank you very much for that short definition of rape. And would go to Peagie. Peagie, in your opinion, what actually constitutes rape, or what's the definition of rape?
Well, for me, I'll give my own opinion on that. My own definition would simply be forcing someone to have intercourse without his or her own consent. I'll be very simple, as brief as that, against the person's will.
Okay. Right. Thanks a lot for that. Similar to what Anita says. I believe we've got Gladys on the line. Is that true, Gladys?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hello, Gladys. It's Milton. Before you came online, I was just asking the other panelists what actually constitutes rape. In your opinion, what do you think rape is?
Well, very simply, is when a woman says no, but I would also like to add when a woman is also not able to say no. So if she's had too much to drink, or she's not able to properly say, that she does not want to engage in such activities,
right,
or if she's incapacitated.
Okay. Right. Well, thanks a lot for that, guys. The other question I was going to ask is that rape is a sex crime which is very complex by nature. You need the technology and expertise to be able to prosecute successfully. What I wanted to know, actually, has Sierra Leone got the technology and expertise to successfully prosecute rape cases? This question would go to Peagie Foday. Peagie, you've just been to Freetown recently. I know your organization deal with a girl child. Do you actually think we've got the technology and expertise to successfully prosecute rape cases in Sierra Leone?
Technology, no, not really. And then it's all the way of handling things. I think they're handling it the wrong way, making the victim be in court, which should not be, which is really dangerous. It's risky. So in a matter of technology, well, maybe it's not really technology. It's the way we are handling things in Sierra Leone. It's not the right way, and I think we should correct that as soon as possible, because the victim risks to be victimized or have more possible threats, and it's really not good. So I think we should react to that as soon as possible and have a solution to that, because I don't think it's safe for her to be in court, so for her pictures to be on the media, her voice and everything. So it's really risky for the woman. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so because with rape as well, to actually prosecute successfully, you go through some, they've got technologies to actually check for semen, etc., etc. But do you think we actually got that? Because that's part of the expertise as well. You could have expertise in actually interrogating a suspect, etc., but without the technology to actually prove rape did exist, it would be very difficult. Don't you think technology is very important as well?
Yeah, it is. So I don't think, because of the way we were handling things back there,
right,
we're not even using the right technology. The technologies are there, and if we want to use it, we can use them. So that's why I say it's the way we're handling it in our court. So,
okay. Well, thanks a lot for that. Right, thanks a lot for that, Peagie. And I would ask the same question to Anita as well. Anita, do you think we've got the technology and expertise to successfully prosecute rape cases in Sierra Leone?
Milton and panelists, I want to say no, because I've been in Sierra Leone working for 3 years, especially these are the issues that we are handling as Cultural Network Sierra Leone. The problem we are having is so much that when it comes to technology, we are zero. There's nothing like, because as you said rightly, in interrogating or investigating a rape case, it means like the one that just happened in Sierra Leone, there should be a forensic inspection, the semen collection and other things. There should be powerful technology to do that. But for me, what I've seen, because I've been there in court, I've handled short cases in Sierra Leone, there is nothing like that, as Peagie said rightly. The way they handle it is just a shambles, is zero. I was able to challenge 1 or 3 solicitors, or you call them what's not, out there. The way they look at things The technology is there. Yes, if I can say 2 years ago, I guess they've poured loads of money in the judiciary, FSU, police, and everything, just for them to be trained in ways and how to handle interviews, handle cases, respecting the perpetrator as well as the victim and everything. But I guess it's still a waste. The whole thing in there is a waste. Nothing like that is happening. Proper handling of cases, thorough interviews, investigations, protection for the victim, as well as identity and everything is just zero. It's really, really zero. I don't know. Loads of money has been poured into that for them to have the training. I think they just refuse to, or they don't want to learn, or they don't want to put things into practice. That's the situation we are having.
Oh, that's very sad because a serious crime such as rape, we believe that there's a lot of people out there who are silent victims as well, because even the ones that are bold enough to actually speak out, they realize that their case is not treated seriously because, as you guys rightly mentioned, with regards to technology, it's zero, and that they don't handle the cases very well. And with cases like that, you have to be really... You have to know what you're doing. If not that, you could lose a winnable case easily. I would ask the same question to Gladys as well. Gladys, do you think Sierra Leone has actually got the technology and expertise to successfully prosecute rape cases?
No. And I think it's because they don't take rape seriously. I think that there's no consensus on what constitutes rape. So people protect things and they put money into things that they believe exist, that crime exists. And I don't think that Sierra Leone has a problem with serial rapists. It's more so of date rapists, in which it's a fine line. And so they don't necessarily think it exists. So I think resources are not poured into, maintaining and protecting that.
Thank you. I think that's a really good point you've made there, Gladys, the point about date rape, because there seems to be the perception that rape only occurs if someone is held at gunpoint and forced, and that is not the case. So thank you very much for bringing up that point.
Right.
Well, thanks a lot for that once again. What we'll do, we'll go for a short break. When we come back, we would actually start with the second segment of the program. Thanks a lot, guys, for your contribution.
People say it doesn't exist, 'cause no one would like to admit that there is a city underground. People live every day off the waste and decay, off the discards of their fellow man. Here in Sub City, life is hard. We can't receive any government relief. Won't you please give the president my honest regards for disregarding me. There's too much crime in this city.
Right. Recently, a 24-year-old student spoke out about her alleged ordeal with the Deputy Minister of Education. Without going into the specifics of this case, do you think there are more silent victims out there who are not brave enough to speak out? I would pose this question to Anita.
Yes, Milton and the panel, so true. Loads of people. Because I can still remember last year I was having a program with Star Radio. They gave me a slot for 12 or 1 a.m. in the morning just for us to discuss on issues around this rape cases and everything. You couldn't believe I received 144 calls, all the women, educated. Some of them, they just crying, saying that you gave me the opportunity today to speak out. I was raped by my uncle. I was raped by my cousin. I was raped by my dad. You couldn't believe this. Even as I'm talking now, there are cases out there. We have a catalog of them, not listening to. No interrogation of perpetrator. Nothing like that. We are dealing with victims as young as 3 years old. You couldn't believe it in that country. Things are not really working. People, some of them feel shy. They don't want to speak up because they think, if I say this, boy, I told you what happens during that night. All of them begged me to come back if we can have like a one-to-one discussion. I asked them to come to my office, let us discuss and see how best we can help them. They walk through the journey with them. I know prominent people, outstanding people, women that I'm telling you. You see them with their 4x4s, educated, but there is something underneath that they cannot speak of. You think they're happy, they're not. Even in their marriages, even with their kids, they feel threatened. They feel unsafe. It's still happening, and people need to be given the voice to speak out as we are doing now, Milton.
Right. That's very interesting, but it seems like society is actually failing people like this because rape has got so much psychological issues connected with it that some people might even end up taking their life if nothing is done about it. But like you rightly said, people are actually scared to speak out, or they're silent because nothing comes out of whatever they say. Anita, do you also think it's because of our patriarchy society, if you like, where in Africa or in Sierra Leone, where male-dominated community, do you think men actually think they've got the right to do whatever they can with a woman with impunity?
So true, because it's like from generation to generation, men feel they're in control, women should not speak up. These are all the issues around our cultural values and beliefs. In this rape issues, everything is normal. When it happens, they hush the little girls, you're not to speak. The family thing, we are in a family, what you're saying is not true. They told them they're lying even when they're telling the truth. It's not fair on their side. People just look at them and say, oh no. These are all the powers when you look at what the men think and society said about women should not speak. We should not be seen but heard. We should not be heard but seen. These are all the things around the men, the society. Just designed the whole thing that we should not speak out. But I guess by the time we finish up, many will come out of it because our target is on those little ones. If you give them the power now to speak up, by the time they get there, nobody's going to stand against them.
Wow. That's very sad. Thanks a lot for such a candid opinion, Anita. We really need to change such mentality. I would ask the same question to Gladys as well. Gladys, without going into the specifics of the case regarding the deputy minister, do you think there are more silent victims out there who are not brave enough to speak out?
No, absolutely. Just because I think culturally we have not defined, again, I mean, to keep bringing that point up, what is rape? So I think a lot of times, and especially since the responsibility is sometimes left on a woman to not put themselves in situations where they can get raped. And so they're constantly questioning, did I cause this? And I think, the victims are oftentimes shamed. So I think there's more victims that stay silent that can come out.
Right. What do you think the state should do to actually encourage more people to be confident and brave enough to speak out against such horrible crimes against them?
I think the shaming has to stop. Starts with stop shaming the victims. And stop with this, don't put yourself in these situations. I mean, we all want to be safe, but that's not what makes someone decide to rape someone, because a woman put herself in a situation.
Right, okay. Thanks a lot for that. And Peagie, the same question goes to you as well. With regards to silent victims, do you think there are a lot more out there who are afraid to speak out?
Yeah, exactly as my fellow panelists have said. There are a lot more out there, but it's more because we don't have anything in place to protect us as women out there. And when we complain, we're not listened to. or we're even thought as being, oh, you provoked it or something. So a lot of women just prefer staying silent, which is not good at all. So I think the government should really step up more for this type of problem, and a lot more, bring out the culprits and really punish them, take it seriously before it goes really out of hand. Because I know when I was in town, a lot of people working with the girl child already, we are vulnerable. So a lot of people started saying, okay, you should look at this as well, you should look at this. Rape is becoming something else in the country. It's not only teenage pregnancy, because they knew that my own focus was really on teenage pregnancy. But then they said, oh, there's this problem as well. Women being raped by their family, by men, and it's not really taken seriously. So I think it's high time the government takes it really seriously, punishing people who are responsible, so women will be more like in the place to speak up. Because if you know, if I speak up, something will be done, then you will be able to do it freely and willingly. But then if they know, oh, even if I speak up, they are not going to take me with any seriousness or anything, well, of course, they will remain silent, and I'm sure that's what's happening now.
Right. Okay, thank you, Peggy. Again, that's a very valid and salient point you raised. I think if women had the confidence that that they will receive justice for what has been done to them, they definitely would be more confident and bolder to speak out. But as it is, even if they do speak out, it's very likely for the perpetrator to get away with it, and that doesn't help.
Right.
Over to you, Milton.
Okay. Right. Well, next question. The allegation by the 24-year-old student is a very serious one, but I see a lot of people trivializing it on social media. Investigations are still ongoing, but some have passed their verdict already on social media. I was also shocked to see a video on YouTube with the alleged victim speaking out about her ordeal. Would this not jeopardize her case whilst investigations are still going on? I'll start with Gladys this time.
Unfortunately, I can't case just because people are so used to trialing, the victims before they actually reach to the courts. And I think, but at the same time, I also do think that while I would like to see victims for their identity to remain a secret, I think that if you've taken the initiative to empower others to speak up, then we have to see the good in that as well.
Right. Did you actually see the video of the victim on YouTube?
No, I didn't.
You haven't? Well, it's the first time I've ever seen a rape victim actually has got a video or talking about her ordeal online, even when the case is still ongoing. Whoever done that, I think they're actually trying to jeopardize the case. Peggy, what do you think about that? Do you think having all these YouTube videos and stuff would jeopardize this case?
Yeah, it will, and in the first place, I don't think it's safe for the lady, because already now I think she started having threats of people saying, oh yeah, we'll do this to you when this finishes, and her identity is being known and everything. So yeah, it will, and then people won't even maybe take her seriously, because from what she says, and maybe after the investigations, you never know what will come out. So she has to be careful as well. So she has to go through the right channel, go through the right investigation methods, and do it. So I was really shocked to see that and hear that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea.
It's not at all, because a lot of people think they're actually championing her case by actually commenting about it, but they're not doing her any favors by actually saying certain stuff that shouldn't be said at this point in time. That should actually be left with the prosecutors to actually see how best they could actually present their case in court. Well, I would ask Anita the same question as well. Anita, do you think all what we hear and read on social media would actually end up jeopardizing this girl's case?
Definitely, because of what I gathered from what I know from the law of Sierra Leone and internationally as well, from the colonial days, there is a clause in Chapter 30 of the abuse of a child and everything. there is something like saying common prostitutes and known immoral character of an individual for our age, like 24. Those cases, they cannot treat them seriously accordingly to law. But now, before that, in 2006, there was a research when they did the recommendation that that clause should be taken off from that chapter 30, going 31. So what happens even with the radio program there, monologue, giving all those information about that lady, about she is a prostitute, that's the way of, is a way of smearing the case, just for them to smash off everything so that justice will not prevail, and name, these are all training I told you that UN has poured money into, intervene, gender-sensitive training to investigate cases, secure the victim's identity, protecting even witnesses. They've damaged all that information. There is nothing left for that lady unless God arise and the judiciary, somebody is out there. Even what I made to understand that women standing there wanted to wear black, they were not allowed to attend the court proceedings, which is really, really bad. So it's just left to them. Let them do the right thing if they show enough about their evidences, but nothing left for her.
Thanks a lot. I agree with everything you said, Anita. Thanks a lot for your contribution anyway. What we'll do now, we'll go on a short break and come back and go on the last segment, okay?
She's got her ticket. I think she gonna use it. I think she going to fly away. No one should try and stop her, persuade her with their power. She says that her mind is made. She's got her ticket. I think she gonna use it. I think she going to fly away. No one should try and stop her, persuade her with their power. She says that her mind is made. Why not leave? Why not go away? Hey, too much hatred, corruption and greed.
Hello everybody, this is Voices from the Diaspora again, and it's Khadi, Mansaray, and I'll be presenting the last segment. So quickly going on where we left off, Anita raised a very valid point about the old ancient law from colonial days that mentioned how rape should be treated, and it alluded to the character or morality of the woman, and that specifically saying that, oh well, it was all right not to, if it was a prostitute, it shouldn't be taken seriously, as opposed to it not being a prostitute. For this third segment, I'd really like to focus on attitudes and understanding. I'd start with attitudes first. There's this message that is quite prominent, and it's not just in Sierra Leone alone. That goes to say, oh, women don't be raped, instead of men don't rape. It seems that the responsibility lies with the woman to protect herself. What do you think, panelists, we can do to change this attitude? And I'll start with you, Gladys.
I think we can start to change it by discussing it and really stop positioning, making the choice between, I think it was said, don't get raped versus don't rape. How can you protect yourself from being a victim? because I think a lot of times that message is put out there when a woman drinks too much or she follows a man. But sometimes it can be someone that you trust, that you're home, you're not doing any of those above-mentioned risky behaviors, and you can still find yourself a victim. So I think we have to put that responsibility back on the men to control themselves and to that no means no, and, not everything is an invitation to violate someone.
Thank you. And Anita, what do you have to say on the attitude?
The attitude is just the way, the mentality, the way men think about women. You're powerless. They can do anything. When it comes to sexual consent, if you say no, there's no point you can say no. Everything about a woman belongs to them. So whether you like it or not, married, not married, be friend or no friend, whatever relationship you're into, with them, they can violate it at any time, every minute. So the attitude around that is just like, I can do anything with you as a woman.
Thank you. Peagie, is that you back?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, just in time. We were discussing attitudes and specifically the message that society tends to give, which focuses on women saying, don't be raped, when it really should be men don't rape. And Anita just mentioned the attitude of men about ownership, that women are like property, and they decide when they want to have sex, and the woman has to agree, and it doesn't matter. And I find it really interesting that women are not given especially in our patriarchal society, we're not giving a lot of opportunity to make decisions, a lot of opportunity to be in control of our lives. But then when it comes to rape, we are expected to protect ourselves. It seems like a contradiction in our messages, because if we are giving men so much power, then with that power should come responsibility. But somehow the vulnerable women are expected to protect themselves against rape. So what are your views on that?
Well, I think it's just when sometimes they think, should we say yes and it's no, or should we say no and it's yes. But then I think it's high time men know that our no's are no and our yeses are yeses. So the question of attitude, I think we fight a lot to portray ourselves as strong people and say yes, our no are no's and our yeses are yes. So when a woman says no, we shouldn't be raped. They shouldn't rape us. They should stop that. It's their own attitude that should be changed and not ours, because when we don't want it, we don't want it, and we say it, but we are not taken seriously. So it's the attitude of the men that should be really changed, and to know that when a woman says no, it's no. It's not a matter of not wanting to be raped. It's a matter of them stopping to rape. As simple as that, I think. We've shown enough. When we want, we want. A woman's yes is a yes, and a woman no. And it should be just like that, I think.
Right. I do agree with all what you guys have said about men need to change their attitude, definitely. But another thing as well that you guys... the other thing... Sorry? Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah. But the other things that you guys highlighted as well is that society doesn't actually take rape issues seriously. So, yes, men need to change their attitude, but the state and society needs to protect women even more and actually prosecute more people that engage in such activities. So that would actually serve as a deterrent to other men, because when you start jailing people for years, that would actually serve as a deterrent. Attitudes will start changing. So... if you leave it to men alone, they're not just going to change their attitude, because they believe that regardless of what they do, nothing comes out of it. So the attitude would never change. Society also needs to do a lot about it.
That is absolutely correct, Milton. And it, ties in with what I was going to bring up next, which is understanding. And from the comments on social media, it is shocking to see what people's understanding about rape is and what consent really means. And I want us to spend these last few minutes really talking about what consent really means, because it seems to be a really, really vague idea. There are those who believe that a woman walking through your gates is consent to sex. Oh, if she was there, then she wanted sex. And I think it's important that women, both women and men, are aware that, look, if I say no, it is no. And that should be respected. And I think all the various levels of what consent is should also be made, it should also be understood by both parties, men and women. There are those who think that it's okay to rape a wife or a girlfriend. There are those who think that it's okay, it's now make. I think we need to get over the thing about make, as they normally say, and really understand that when a woman says no, it's no. So I'll start with you, Anita. In terms of consent, what in your opinion does consent mean, and how can we pass this message on to people so that they understand what consent is?
Thank you, Khadi. I would just give a short definition on consent. But as you said rightly, if our men are ready to listen, they can listen. If they want to change their attitude, they can change it. And the government has got a part to play on this. Consent by law is a voluntary agreement with an action proposed by another. Consent is an act of reasoning. If somebody said yes, it's yes. If I say no, I mean no. But for us out there, the men just think, rightly as Peagie said, when you said no, it's yes to them. Because they always think they're in control of you. As society, as a designer, giving us giving them the mandate to take control of our lives. But if the government, as Milton said, we need an example. We want them to set an example. We keep talking about this 100 years today. Look at this as a high-profile case with a government official, a minister too. What's going to be the outcome? We don't know. At the end of the day, because Mr. X belongs to this club is in charge of this case, they're going to kill it. There's nothing coming out of it. But we want to see reasonable jail terms for them to go out there. When you come back, you will never be the same. What I know about Sierra Leone is just an example. If somebody goes down for 15 years, another person for another 10 years, trust me, the third person, it won't happen again. We need that. The consenting is there, but they don't listen. What can we do? The government has a part to play. They need to do something now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that, Anita. Gladys, what are your opinions on this?
On consent?
Yes.
Yeah, consent is when both parties agree. Silence is not consent. If someone is impaired by drugs or alcohol, that's not consent. If you threaten someone and then they gave in, that's not consent. Consent is a definitive yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Gladys, what do you think about, what do you have to say to men who think, well, she's my wife and, I've paid the bride price, therefore I should have sex whenever I want, however I want, as often as I want. What do you say to men who have that way of thinking?
I mean, I just think that it's unfortunate, but I think that it goes further than that. I think in Africa and several other countries, women are not allowed to have any consent in respect to their bodies, to how many children they have, when they have children, So sex is just a piece of that puzzle. So the man figured that he's doing everything for her, and he has the right to have sex with her, just like he has the right to tell her how many kids to have, if she should join society, if she should not have kids, or when and how to have children. So I think sex is just a piece of that puzzle, and women themselves have to know that they have a right to say no to their husbands or wives, to their husbands or boyfriends.
Okay, thank you. I think that's really important. And Peagie, with regards to the same theme, what I'd like you to talk about is understanding from a woman's perspective again, and how we can educate women. You do a lot of work with young girls at the moment. So how do we get women to also understand that they should not be forced? Because a lot of the not reported rape is due to women who may not even know that they had been raped, because it's their husband forcing themselves on them. And there's also a problem of date rape, which I think is largely ignored in Sierra Leone. But worldwide, the statistics show that women, especially middle-class women, are more likely to be raped by people they know, people who they trust. They may find themselves in situations where it could be a friend's boyfriend or a friend's husband, and they think they're safe with them, and the next thing they know, they are raped, and then they're ashamed to talk about. These things happen in our society, and women would be too embarrassed to talk about it. What you hear is normally, like I say, the victim, or yes, the one who the rebel rapes, and everyone is sympathetic, but it goes at a more granular level. So what would be your views on that aspect of it, Peagie?
I think we should just be strong enough, and when that happens, even though it's a close person, we should speak up. And we as women, we should encourage ourselves not to be afraid, not to be ashamed, because it's inadmissible for that to happen, to have a friend rape you or your family rape you. So we should speak up and speak. I know there are a lot of organizations now on the ground or international.
Are you there, Peagie?
I think he's gone.
Okay.
Just before...
Well, that's fine. Well, any of you panelists have anything to add on that final aspect?
Khadi, just before... All right, well, the panelists could say stuff, but I just wanted to ask one very important question, anyway, which I don't think has been discussed too much, anyway, with regards to rape. What I wanted to know from the women panelists is that, can a man be raped by a woman?
Can I come in?
Yes, Anita.
Well, now, even with the international definition, they're saying it can happen to both man and woman as well. It's happening to them. They can be raped. But when you look at the ratio around the women at a higher, they are at a disadvantage. But the men, for them, they have the physique, they can stand it. It can be men to men, and some they're coming out saying, "Women, my group of women raped me." One woman cannot rape a man. Trust me, we don't have the strength and even the know-how to do it. But for some, they're saying, "Oh, these women, 3 women raped me." That is it. But according to definition, it can be now both men as well as women. You know, the sexual thing and everything. For the sexual orientation, it does happen. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think another area of rape that again is not mentioned is rape amongst homosexuals. Men can be raped by other men.
It is,
and so that is another issue. And again, that would be unlikely to be reported because of embarrassment. Especially, again, if it's someone who is respectable and they say, "Oh, nalai pana." So there is that, and this is why it's important that victims, whether male or female, are comfortable or feel safe to report what has happened to them. Quickly again, I'd like to know your views, ladies, on date rape. And yes, Anita.
Yeah. What I want to say about this, you think it's just happening in the Western Wall. In Sierra Leone, a couple of months ago, I was called to this case about a 6-year-old boy was raped by a teacher in a school in Sierra Leone. And I was following the case. Nobody gave me no update. Nothing happens about it. You think it's just happening in international or in the white culture Western world is happening in Sierra Leone. Boys too, they're suffering because most of them, they come in saying, Auntie Anita, what about the boys? You're just talking about the girls. We too are suffering. I know the ordeals they're going through. But as you said rightly, Milton, the government, I'm still behind them. They can do something. They are the ones that are capable to change the situation about this rape in our country. We can't do nothing. We are working as an organization. When you go out there, you don't have the power even to tell them what to do, either for them to do the right thing for the victim as well as the perpetrator, because both of them, we have a part to play to help them out, especially perpetrators. Some of them, they're just sick. And I guess you guys, I don't know if you know about that case, Mr. Pratt and the 2 daughters. He was abusing sexually the first daughter at the age of 12 until 17, and the second one, age 12, he made an attempt to abuse her, and the girl reported the matter. Now Mr. Pratt is in this club. This club they didn't do nothing about it because he's some big guy in the city. Nothing happens. The 2 sisters, they're now out of the house, and mom is in a state of dilemma, not knowing what to do because Mr. Pratt controls everything. These are the issues. There are deep things in Sierra Leone that we need to really handle. And if the government is serious about protecting the girls and women as well, they need to set an example. Let them forget about who is this, who is that. Whatever profile, name, or status you are, we need to go down into the bottom of matters and solve them once and for all. If not, it's a vicious circle. This will continue on and on from generation to generation. Trust me.
Thank you very much. And Gladys, what would be your final words on the matter?
I would also like to mention, I think statutory rape should also be included in the discussion, because I think that also starts to form the mentality of how men view sex and women and consent.
Okay. Yes. And Milton, we're co-hosting this together. What are your final
Well, okay, all right. Yeah, well, just like every other person has actually said, I think the government needs to do a lot more to protect women from men. Definitely, men need to change their attitude as well. They shouldn't just think because I'm a man, I'm physically stronger than a woman, I could do whatever I want to do with that woman. It's unfair. Most men, they've got daughters and mothers as well. They wouldn't want any man to actually do that to their offsprings or parents, for example. So it's really unfair the way we treat women in society. It's not just about rape. There's a lot of things where women are disadvantaged a lot. With regards to changing attitude, people just don't change their attitude like that. There should be certain measures taken by the state or the government that would force or coerce people to actually change certain behaviors that are detrimental to people's welfare. So my last word would be is that the government, the state needs to take issues like rape very seriously, and the need to protect the vulnerable in society a lot more as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, listeners, this is the end of our panel discussion for this week, and hope you found the information very useful. And we also hope that we've provided a lot of food for thought. This is down to us, and I also hope that the government is listening. They are calling for the government to be more proactive and to be more firm on this matter and address the rape for our women, for our children, and for our posterity. So thank you, everybody. This is the end of the show, and goodbye, and hope to talk to you again soon.
You got a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You got a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs and finally see what it means to be living. See, my old man's got a problem. Yeah, but the bottle, that's the way it is. He says his body's too old for working. His body's too young to look like his. My mama went off and left him. She wanted more from life than he could give. I said, somebody's got to take care of him. So I quit school and that's what I did. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. Had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. We go cruise and entertain ourselves. Still ain't got a job. Now work in the market as a checkout girl. I know things will get better. You'll find work and I'll get promoted, and we'll move out of the shelter, buy a bigger house and live in the suburbs. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast it felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. Had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. I got a job that pays all our bills. We sell drinking late at the bar. See more your friends than you do your kids. I'd always hope for better. Thought maybe together you and me find it. I got no plans, I ain't going nowhere. Take your fast car and keep on driving. So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast I felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. Had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so you can fly away? You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way.